Welcome to first period action, ladies and gentlemen, at Queen's Park. We're joining action already in play, and already the Burrards a man short. Steve Goodman in the penalty box. Johnny Wilson setting up the power play for Vancouver. Katanchik takes over for Vancouver, and they'll look to try and kill this penalty, although Vancouver throughout the season has tended to try and go for goal on their man short play. Jones. Randy Jones double teamed as Stu Watson grabs the loose ball off of Jones. He'll hang on to the ball as Vancouver backpedal into their own zone, try and get their man short play back on the floor. We'll set the power play for you now for Burnaby. John Wilson at the top. He has the ball now. Al Truant, a junior pickup from the Burnaby junior team. We'll be talking about him as the game goes on. Russ Hurd, the shooter spot, and down in the crease, Jamie Stewart. Back to Wilson. Wilson's shot. Corbar got a piece of it. The ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a face-off to Dave Corbar's left. And Al Truant's an interesting story, Dave. I know last week he was playing for his junior team, his senior B team, and the senior A Lakers. The kid got an awful lot of lacrosse in.
Well, the young fella is one of those kids who loves the game of lacrosse and can't get enough of it. He is much bigger player than what he appears to be when you're in the stands. When you stand to him, looking him in eye, he's about 5'11" and about 190 to 200 pounds.
I think by the time this series is over, he could be 190, whatever. But we're back to live action. There's Al Truant now with possession, wearing number 22.
He stepped right in the lineup, David, right out of the juniors to help them out.
Hurd, back to Wilson. Wilson shot picked off almost by Theriault. The ball goes loose, picked off in the corner. Ball loose along the boards, just near the Vancouver bench. Jamie Stewart dumps the ball back to Truant. As the 30-second clock goes, the ball will be turned over to Vancouver. Only a few seconds left in the Vancouver penalty as Goodwin getting set to get back on the floor. And Goodwin's back on the floor now as we're back at full strength. 17-13 remains in the scoreless first period. John Tavares, the guy we talked about in the pregame show. Tavares moves around the top, trying to get a shot away as Vancouver called for a moving pick. Tavares trying to get that shot away, and John Tavares, a guy with a lot of variety to his game, a very complicated arsenal.
He's very versatile, Dave. He's got an arsenal of shots inside, outside, and he's got 2 or 3 one-on-one moves, and I don't think the Western Lacrosse League have really figured him out yet.
Well, Burnaby's going to have to figure him out before this series is over because he really does hit the league with a big splash, John Tavares. Tavares and Jones battling Tommy Huntley, and Jones comes up with it. Jones to Dan Stroop, over to Tavares. He misses the pass. Fighting Tommy Huntley in the corner for the loose ball. Tavares comes up with it, and Dallas Elliott gets the loose ball, but an interference call against Burnaby. Don Leach, the referee, making the call, and Vancouver's Randy Jones will take over possession. Play back in. Jones coming around a pick set by number 3, Dave McWhirter, out to Dan Stroop. Stroop being checked by Holland to McWhirter. McWhirter's shot. That goes wide. 15 seconds left on the shot clock for Vancouver. The ball's still loose. Finally, Burnaby picks it up. Number 3, Dale Robertson. He'll backpedal, get himself out of trouble, and he'll dish the ball off. Truant. Truant just hanging on, waiting for a line change to be completed. Truant just holding on to the ball. The clock running down. Only 15 seconds left. A bit of a long line change. 10 seconds left on the clock now. Trying to go one-on-one is number 2, Thomas, being checked by McWhirter. Thomas comes around the pick, takes a shot. That's wide. The ball stays in bounds, and Jones takes over Vancouver. As the horn goes for the 30-second infraction, but the referees will just whistle that back in play.
One of the characteristics, Dave, of Burnaby is slow line changes. And Vancouver, you'll always see them running on and off the floor. That's a key to, I believe, winning this game.
Yeah, I think all season Vancouver's used their bench very well. And Burnaby, I've only seen them play several times during the season, but I'd like to say they're very, very slow in their line changes. Malcolm in front, big save by Elliott. And that's Elliott's first big save of the game. Of course, he missed the first game with an ankle injury sustained in the pregame warm-up. They really looked to Dallas Elliott to lead them in this series. Elliott makes the save on Oyam, hangs down to the ball once again. Burnaby making a line shave. Let's put the clock on that again. A little quicker this time. 20 seconds left on the 30-second shot clock. Is Jamie Stewart. Jamie Stewart behind the goal. Looks in front to Rawson. Rawson couldn't pick the pass up. The ball goes loose, and Wilson will pick it up at center floor. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Wilson will probably let it go from well out. He does. Misses the net, and the ball will turn over on the 30-second infraction to Vancouver. Well, Vancouver this time, of course, with a 30-second infraction, probably going to take a little more time on their line changes, so we don't get a chance to see that the speed of the Vancouver line change.
Well, we haven't really seen Vancouver open up their run and gun style yet. The game's been kind of slow in the transition game, but I'm sure it's going to open up fairly quickly. That first game, first 2 periods especially, was wide open.
Fredrickson to Stroop, and he scores. It's Dean Stroop, a beautiful pick and roll. Dean Stroop getting together with number 19, Gary Fredrickson. And with 14:43 remaining in the first period, Vancouver take a 1-0 lead. Beautiful little pick and roll by Dean. Let's check this out on the replay, Dave.
Well, it's difficult to see what's happening on the replay, but here comes the ball up the floor. Over to Fredrickson, I believe, into Stroop. Fredrickson had the ball, and Stroop just came in an easy little pick and went straight to goal. And that's the key to the pick and roll. You've got to go to goal to make that second option open.
I think the key to beat Dallas Elliott is to get him moving laterally. We'll get the announcement of the goal
16,
now.
Dan Stroop. Assist to number 19, Gary Fredrickson. And number 23, Dean Stroop. That's Stroop from Fredrickson and Stroop.
Well, they announced that goal as Dan Stroop, but I think it was Dean Stroop, number 23, that got the goal. Burnaby coming back. 23 is Colin Sinclair, another junior pickup from the Burnaby Lakers junior team, to Andy Holland. Moving pick called against Burnaby this time, and Rich Cattermole will take over deep to the left of Dave Korovar. And once again, Burnaby back quickly on defense, not allowing Vancouver to get that fast break game going. And that could be Burnaby's strategy tonight, Dave. Try to get back, prevent them from using that fast break.
Well, that's the key. If you're back in groups of 5, you can defend a lot easier.
Vancouver shot wide, picked up by Big Jeff Chalice, one of Vancouver's eastern imports from the Peterborough area. Big Jeff Chalice going one-on-one against Brian Jariga. Back to Tony Malcolm. Malcolm tries to get it over to Goodwin. The pass a little in front of Steve Goodwin, and Burnaby come out. Now it's Burnaby's turn to fast break. Holland has Sinclair on his right. Sinclair shoots. Big save by Korovar. Great save by Dave Korovar. That's what a goaltender needs to get him in the game early. And here comes the fast break. Tony Malcolm. Malcolm to Goodwin. He'll be looking for the trailer coming off the bench. Back to Gary Fredrickson. Fredrickson had the ball momentarily, lost it into the corner, and Colin Sinclair takes over for Burnaby.
This Sinclair is an overage junior this year. He'll be a draft next year. He and Al Truitt. And they're both going to go fairly high in the draft, I believe.
I think they will too. Both left-handers, which of course is a rare commodity in lacrosse. And to have 2 left-handers like that go that high up in the draft is unusual. And Russ Hurd, as we mentioned, scores for Burnaby. Hurd getting the ball off to the left of Dave Korovar. A bit of rough stuff in front of the net. Referee Don Leach puts a stop to that as Pelzer and Goodwin pushing and shoving.
Here's the replay. Hurd will go one-on-one. He'll get the lateral across the net, but he hit the pipe and it went off the back of Dave's back. So it's one of those cheap goals, but it's an opportunity that Hurd had, and he finished it off.
Be interesting to see how Dave Korovar responds to that. That's those kind of goals in the past, Dave Korovar would really get down about. You know, the bad goals, the bounce off the goalpost and off the back. And it'd be interesting to see how Dave responds to that.
Well, I think with his tenure with Dwight Metke, he's starting
Lakers,
to overcome that and believe in himself
scored
more.
by number 9, Russ
Lakers take
Hurd.
over off the face-off.
Assist to number 4,
Keith Cowles
Troy
right up the middle.
Polzer, and number 23,
Picked up by Truitt.
Colin Sinclair.
Handled by Fredrickson. The
That's
pick set by
Hurd
Russ Hurd.
from
Trying to run that
Polzer
pick and
and
roll. Didn't work
Sinclair.
that time as
Time
Korovar
of the
picked up
goal,
the ball in the corner.
6:51.
Dave, I'm noticing Don Leach is calling a lot of this little moving interference offensively. It's a little sore spot in my point, because just let them play the game rather than so many whistles. We have a delayed penalty now, Dave.
We'll get a chance to look at Vancouver's power play momentarily as Hurd picks up the loose ball. Yeah, I'd like to see them let them play the game a little more, and I think from the fan standpoint, too, to let the game flow. Let the game flow and try and cut down the number of whistles. Most of those moving picks are incidental little things that don't really affect the flow of the game.
Yeah, the obvious clutch and grab on the interference call, I can understand. But I mean a little push or shove, and that's part of the game. And
Troy Polzer. 2 minutes for holding. Time of the penalty, 7:28.
Well, 12:32 remaining in the first period. Pelzer off for holding as Katanchik will take the face-off against Darren London. Katanchik tries to knock it back and finally bats it back right down to his end to Korovar. Korovar will take that ball off the boards and will set Vancouver's power play for you. There's John Tavares. Of course, we've talked about him at length before the game. He'll set the power play up. Roddy Jensen, who finished second in the scoring race. Well, the right-handed shooter to Randy Jones, who finished tied with John Wilson for first in scoring, so there's a lot of firepower out there. Back to Tavares. Tavares looking down to Oem. Oem couldn't negotiate that pass. 10 seconds left on the shot clock as Jones retrieves the loose ball. Jones to Jensen. Jensen has a shot. High of the net, and it looks like they'll turn that over. Only 2 seconds left on the clock, and Burnaby will take over.
Roddy Jensen's history is if he's off on his game, he shoots high and wide and very erratic. But when he's on, he can score a ton. Seeing that there's less than 5, he should have maybe taken a better high percentage shot low and in at the goalie, not to get the big rebound.
Huntley for Burnaby. He's chased down by Malcolm, and Huntley beats Malcolm. Huntley could go all the way. Huntley on his own. Shoots and scores! A beautiful effort by Tom Huntley. A great end-to-end rush. Tommy Huntley, that'll be an unassisted goal as he blew by Tony Malcolm, which in itself is saying something. Beat Craig Roy, put the ball across Dave Korovar's body. We'll see that, Dave.
Here's the play now. He just takes off, just runs away from his man, outrunning him, cuts across diagonally, a little fake. He caught Davey kind of going to his short side.
By number 66, Tom Huntley.
There he is.
Unassisted. Time of the goal, 8:15.
Just a great quick release. That's the key to it.
8:15 the time of that goal. Tommy Huntley, a shorthanded goal, puts the Burnaby Lakers ahead, 2-1. 11 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first period. Vancouver still on the power play. Jensen. Back to Tavares to Jones. Jones down to Owen. He'll look for Tavares. Tavares to the middle. That pass is knocked away by Callison. Burnaby shoots Nicola off the bench. Nicola's open for a split second. Callison didn't see him, and they'll have to kill the penalty now. Callison looking for Nicola. It's knocked back over the line. But an interference call once again. Terry Oem, a little bit of bad timing, and once again, I don't know about that call.
No, I mean, you have to have a feel for the game, and you have to understand what occurred there. I mean, Terry Oem did not interfere with him. He was in the process of checking when the man released the ball. I thought it was a poor call.
Huntley once again. Huntley again goes one. A great move by Huntley again, and this time Korovar beats him.
Well, he went for the same corner, and Korovar's developing a good goalie. He won't allow you to score twice in the same spot.
Yeah, Tommy Huntley went to the well once too often that time. Nicola, great one-on-one player. Checked by Jones and Tavares. Nicola beats Jones and Tavares. Shoots another big save by Korovar.
Korovar gets that big left arm out there, and he stopped 2 big shots on that same side. They're going to have to go low on that side, I think.
Just wondering who's got the power play here, Burnaby or Vancouver.
Actually, Vancouver looks a little lethargic right now.
Back at full strength, Malcolm's outside shot. That's an easy save for Eliak. The ball goes loose in the corner. Rawson fighting for the loose ball along with his teammate Pelzer, Tony Malcolm, and Randy Kendrick of Vancouver. The ball comes loose. Momentarily picked up by Pelzer. Finally, it goes loose once again. Still loose. Of course, the 30-second clock hasn't begun yet. Finally picked up by Keith Callison. Callison deep in his own zone as Burnaby makes a line change.
Callison was one of the key players in the 7th game, Dave, and he's the captain of the team, and your leaders always rise to the occasion, and he'll probably come up with a big game for him tonight again.
Rawson looking for Wilson. Picked off by Dave McWhirter. Back to Korovar. Korovar behind the net. He'll hang on to that ball as Vancouver start to make a line change. 9:25 remaining in the first period of play. Burnaby, a surprise 2-1 lead. A shorthanded goal by Tommy Huntley, giving them that 2-1 edge. Paul Day, another Eastern import, had a big game in the first game of the series. 4 goals for Paul Day. The first game in the 12-6 Vancouver victory. A long shot, but not this time as Dallas Eliak got his body behind that, dumps it off to Nicola. Nicola against Fredrickson. Fredrickson forces Nicola into the corner. He'll hang on to the ball, though. Looks in front. Pass went wide of Stu Watson. Back to Eliak. Still 12 seconds remaining on the clock. Plenty of time for Burnaby. John Wilson being picked up by Dean Stroop. Ball goes loose and Day recovers for Vancouver.
Really intelligent play by Paul Day. He's from the borough, as you mentioned earlier, and he shows that class, that money-style player. When it gets to the money games, he really comes forward. And he was just sitting back waiting for that pass.
Roddy Jensen on the outside, looking in front. Nice play, a great save by Dallas Eliak. Dallas Eliak robbed Tom Kachensky. And if there was any doubt as to whether Dallas was ready to play tonight, I think that answers the question.
I don't think his ankle is bothering him at all.
He keeps playing like that. Al Luthwaite certainly, he won't be worried about it either. Sinclair, good look at the crowd here, and a good crowd here tonight at Queen's Park Arena. In front of that big save by Korovar now as both goaltenders rising to the occasion. Rich Cattermole for Vancouver. They move up the floor, up to Racine. Racine, one of Vancouver's veteran players, to Todd Katanchik. Katanchik, he's stopped by Sinclair, pulls the ball out, looks in front for Racine, shot wide. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. As Tavares comes up, and another great save by Elliott. And once again, Todd Katanchik robbed twice on the same shift by Elliott. And I looked down at the Vancouver bench, and I see Danny Cameron kind of rubbing his chin, and we look at Elliott on the screen now. What's that going to do to Vancouver psychologically? They didn't face Elliott in the first game. He's just robbed them twice on the same shift.
Well, I think what you'll see is that they're picked up their pace now. They can keep this pace for 60 minutes. If the Burnaby team can stay the same pace with them, Burnaby could win this game. But if they wear down, Vancouver will just keep coming wave after wave, and eventually, if they start shooting smarter on Iliak, if you look at that shot, it was low on a stick side, and that's an easy save. If you see the replay now, coming across the shot, he made the save with the stick low, and that's where he holds his stick when he's set up.
Kendrick for Vancouver in front of his own bench, puts the ball down to the corner to Flintoff. Back to Gary Fredrickson. Pick set by Dan Stroop. Fredericks comes around the pick looking for Jones. Jones to Elliott's left. Comes around Day's pick. Looks for Dan Stroop. Stroop to Fredrickson. Nice move by Fredrickson. Can't get a shot away though. Some good defense by Russ Sinclair.
Off the pipe, Dave. That was an intelligent play by Stroop. He came around, he saw Fredrickson, and Fredrickson finish off the intelligent play by waiting for him, having patience and a little backhand, and Stroop came around in front to make the shot. He just didn't finish it off, but it was an excellent thought-out play by both players.
Vancouver on the break. Fredrickson didn't see it, but he's got a breakaway. Gary Fredrickson all alone on Elliott. Fredrickson to fake the shot. Another big save by Elliott. The rebound picked up by Dan Stroop. That's taken away, stripped by Al Truitt. And once again, Elliott comes up big. And once again, Dave went low on him.
Yeah, they went low on the stick side again. One of the fortes for Iliak is that in tight, he's super quick and fast. I think on a breakaway, you got to shoot from about that 10, 12-foot area when he plants his feet and he can't react as quick.
Something else to consider with Elliott, he's a left-handed goaltender, and
right-hander's nightmare.
And a right-hander's nightmare, exactly. And the shots they've taken have been high percentage shots against a right-handed goaltender. Right. So Rawson being checked by Racine. Outside shot, and Korovar will take those shots all night. Here's the breakaway for Racine.
He went faked high and then went low, which is what you teach the guys, but he got in too tight to go low. Iliak is a reaction goalie. If you're going to fake, I mean, you just got to bury the ball on your next move. Can't be a lazy shot.
Dale Robertson at center floor for Burnaby. There's a look at Danny Cameron, coach of the Burrards. As Huntley being marked by Jensen. Waiting for the pick from Juriga, but Todd Racine switches nicely. Jensen up to Tavares. Tavares on the right wing, shot. Wide to the top corner, but at least Tavares has gone to school a little bit and went high on Elliott that time. Missed the net. Sinclair on the break. Sinclair picked up by Cattermole. Nothing happens from that. Looks for the trailer. Long shot by Robertson off the pipe. Ball bouncing back into the center floor area.
Some of the Burnaby players thought that bounced down and out, Dave. But the referee was right on the line.
Yeah, referee was right down on the line. I don't think it did. The way it came out, as far as it came out, I don't think it must have had a heck of a spin on it if it did go down and out. Burnaby still in possession, though. 19 seconds remaining on the shot clock. 4:25 remaining in the first period, and the Lakers with a 2-1 lead. Russ Hurd. Truitt's shot stopped by Korovar. Another big save by Korovar. And both goaltenders, as I mentioned, coming up big. Long outside shot by Thomas goes way wide. Vancouver takes over. And a penalty coming up to Rich Cattermole away from the play.
He slashed the player after the play went up the floor, Dave.
Rich Cattermole with 4:04 remaining in the first period. As we look at Al Luthwaite, here's a good chance for the Burnaby team to take a 3-1 lead as Cattermole took kind of a foolish penalty behind the play. Really no reason to take that slashing penalty.
In these kind of games, you have to take a little bit of it. I think Troy Pelzer gave him a little swat and then he retaliated. What's the old story? You always get caught if you retaliate.
Huntley off the draw, dumps it back to Elliott, and Burnaby will have the power play once again. Johnny Wilson will set it up. Wilson in possession now, across the center floor.
Burnaby's power play hasn't done a lot this period. They've had 3 opportunities, but there hasn't been a lot of great ball movement. It's been more one-on-one action like this. And that maybe is the secret to it.
That must be the secret. I think we're fortune teller on my right here. As Brian Nicola from the crease goes around Terry Oem, scores 1-on-1 with 3:44 remaining. Didn't take long on the power play for Nicola to dent the twine behind Dave Korovar for a 3-1 Burnaby lead. As we look at Brian Nicola, a big plus for this Burnaby team. Of course, he missed most of the season playing field lacrosse with the Canadian national team down in Australia. Nicola's really made a big addition. There's the
replay, and the camera had it really well where he went 1-on-1. He just gives him some fake and gets him away from the pipe.
Lakers'
and then
third
drops
goal,
it on the inside.
power play goal, scored by number 55, Brian Nicola. Assist to number 13,
Nicola right
John
back again
Wilson,
with Craig
and
Roy
number
fighting for the loose ball in the corner, and Dan Stroop going
Dallas
after it.
Elliott.
Finally, Dan Stroop picks it up for Vancouver. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first period. A bit of a surprising 3-1 Burnaby lead. Randy Jones crossed the center floor. Vancouver's leading scorer over the course of the regular season, Jones. Jones picked up by Rawson. Jones off to Sean Flintoff. Flintoff trying to beat his man 1-on-1. Stripped to the ball. 10 seconds left on the clock. Still lots of time for Vancouver to get a shot away.
Horizontal pass. Nightmare.
There's 2 nightmares in the same play.
I think Jamie would rather have that back.
But a bad play by Sean Flintoff. Crossed the floor like that, a horizontal pass, like you say. I guess 2 wrongs don't make a right, as Stewart took a bit of a low percentage shot on the backhand. Vancouver come back in possession. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Steve Goodwin in possession. Goodwin to Kendrick.
Jamie's got the ability to switch hands. I was surprised he didn't on that, but he's down in the thick of things. Sometimes you don't think it's clear down there when you're up here.
Goodwin called in the 32nd infraction, and Burnaby will take over. Burnaby's defense has really impressed me tonight. Vancouver really hasn't got, other than the quick breaks, very few high percentage shots, certainly on the 5-on-5 flow of the play.
Yeah, Burnaby have got that extra jump to start the game with. They've come out and they have quicker feet, I think, and on defense they're just all over Vancouver. And Vancouver just either a little sluggish or just, pick the top corner.
As Dale Robertson, I think Korovar might like to have a second shot at that one. He caught him a little bit off guard. A nice shot, mind you, away from the flow of the play. Certainly Dave didn't expect that shot.
Oh, we just caught the tail end of it, but it was a gorgeous shot. Just slipped right in the corner of the pipes, and it looked like Dave was leaning more to his left and left that corner up. He couldn't react back to it. But that's, I believe, his 3rd goal in that top corner.
Yeah, that's 3 out of 4 goals have gone in that top corner to Dave Korovar's high stick side.
Dale Robertson.
Another big save. Once again, low to the stick side, though.
Colin
Dan Stroop
Sinclair.
stopped by Eliak.
Time of the goal, 17:48. That's right.
Okay, there you saw Dale Robinson get that long rebound out in front of the net. He just worked himself in a high percentage spot and shot in the corner. That's how easy it is to score goals.
Russ Hurd with 1 minute and 45 seconds left in the period. Burnaby looking to add to their 4-1 lead. Hurd uses his free hand to push off Randy Jones as Vancouver comes back. And Vancouver's got to get a goal, I would think, on this shift to go into the intermission with any kind of a positive flow to their game.
Vancouver has developed that ability this year, though, to come back from being down in a game. It's because they play consistent 60 minutes, and they'll keep wearing you down. But you're right, Dave. If they get a goal here, they'll come out really running, gunning that second period.
1 second left on the shot clock, as there goes the horn for the shot clock. Just over a minute remaining, 1:10 remaining, as Burnaby will take over.
Well, this minute with 10 seconds, this 30-second defense for Vancouver is a key. Then they'll get one chance to finish the period off and hopefully come up with a goal.
Wilson fakes the pass to Nicola, hangs onto the ball. He's picked up by Jensen. In front of the net to Ross, and he mishandles the pass, and Korovar takes over. 52 seconds remaining in the first period. Vancouver take over. Jensen down the right side. He'll look to dump it back. He's on the wrong side of the floor. He'll be looking to pass it off or dump it back to Tavares. Finally dumps it in front. Shot by Racine. That's wide of the net. Loose in the corner to the left of Elliott. Picked up again by Tavares. Tavares shoots from behind the net, trying to kill that 30-second clock. So with 20 seconds left on the clock now, Vancouver again will take over.
Another shot.
Cattermole. Rich Cattermole looks to Tavares. Tavares picked up by Watson.
Well, Roddy Jensen should get up in the play because he's the guy out there with the outside shot.
Back to Katanjic, back to Jensen. 5 seconds left on the clock. Jensen's going to have to get a shot. He looks to Katanjic. Nice move by Katanjic, and he
Big goal,
scores!
2 seconds.
2 seconds left on the clock, and man, is that a big goal for the Vancouver Burrards. And Todd Katanjic, I guess 3 shots for a quarter, they say. Elliott robbed him twice. He finally put his 3rd chance away. Great look by Roddy Jensen, held onto the ball, found Katanjic in the middle. A big goal by Todd Katanjic, and it's a 4-2 Burnaby lead with only 2 seconds remaining in the first period.
What happened there is Roddy Jensen was standing up high. Everybody stood still watching him, and Todd Katanjic had the whereabouts. Just cut across on the diagonal, got a nice speed, fake, and then shot to the weak side, coming across.
So there goes the buzzer to end the first period of play. A 4-2 Burnaby lead. A bit of a surprise, I think, Dave.
Second goal.
Well, I think it's a surprise.
Number 10,
but the
Todd
way that
Katanjic.
Burnaby is playing
Assist
up
to
and
number
down
6,
like a toilet
John
seat,
Travaris, and
you
number
never
8,
know. So
Rod
Burrards have the
Jensen.
capability of going in, relaxing, coming up
1958.
strong for the second period. Burnaby, this goal may affect them. I'm not sure if they have the ability to not allow it to affect them, but we'll certainly see come the next period.
Yeah, like you say, Burnaby all season has been very, very inconsistent, about as predictable as the weather, as you mentioned, and it's going to be very interesting to see a goal like that late in the period. It can really be an emotional letdown, and of course, conversely for Vancouver, it's going to give them a big boost going into the second period of play.
Yeah, I think that Vancouver will see them pick up their defensive game at their end. I think that you'll see the transitional game start and happen a bit more. What I find is with Dave Korovar in there, their transitional game from defense to offense doesn't happen as quickly. Dwight Metke's got the great stick, the great release, and he hollers to break and that type of thing, and he gets them pumped and excited to fast break. So I think that's why we may not see as much of the quick feed happening out there. But Burnaby are playing a good, consistent ball control game. They haven't thrown it away very often, but they're playing 5-man defense and playing it very well.
Yeah, like you say, I think the big difference, I mean, Korovar has had a very good year stopping the ball for Vancouver. But like you say, Dwight Metke, I think, moves the ball as well as anybody in the league. And I've watched him in practice. I've watched him. Both of us have seen him for several years now with the Burrards. And that really does make a difference. And I think, like you say, it's going to affect the pace of the game. And Vancouver loves to play that fast break, run and gun, shoot the bench game. And I think, as we mentioned during the period, Burnaby is doing a great job of getting everybody back on defense. They're not allowing Vancouver to use that fast break of theirs.
Exactly, and that's the key. When you come back and play defense in groups of 5, it creates all kinds of havoc for offense. The transitional game that Vancouver wants to play, they won't get the 2-on-1s or the 3-on-2s or even the 4-on-3s. They're facing 5-on-5, and it forces them to play a slower ball control game also.
And of course, that's going to make it that much easier for Dallas Elliott in the Burnaby Nets. We've mentioned Dallas, how important he is to this team. I think he's a quiet kind of guy. He's not as upbeat. He's not a talker like a Metke is, for instance, or a Bannister that plays for New Westminster. But he's a quiet leader, and I think he's a guy that over the history of this franchise that the Burnaby players must look to for leadership.
Oh, no question. He's the reason that they're in the final series, and he could be the reason that they get to the Mann Cup back east. And in talking to Dallas, his whole objective when he's focused on the floor is that he looks from shot to shot. He doesn't think about the game. He doesn't think about players if they're playing well or bad. He's concentrating on the next shot. He sees a man with the ball, and he also has that peripheral vision where he can see possible play happening. Dwight Metke has this, and all the great goalies have that, where he can possibly see a play happening. And he focuses on shot to shot. He doesn't try and get his mind on other things. And that's the key to great goaltending, and he's showing it in the way he's been playing.
Well, one of the key guys in this series, short as it's been so far, we mentioned him before the game, John Tavares. He hasn't done an awful lot tonight, but Dean Rogerson has a talk as John down at floor level. Let's go down to Dean with John Tavares of the Vancouver Burrards.
Thanks, Dave. John, you came from Ontario and played the last 16 games of the season for the Burrards. Has it been a big adjustment for you?
Yeah, it sure has, because first of all, I missed the first 8 games. Everybody else, they got the rust. I was rusty, they weren't, they had their stick skills. Plus, I'm just out of junior A, it's my rookie year, so that too is a big adjustment. Also, the environment, have to adjust to that, getting to the games back. Not used to the type of play, the closeness of the games. Back in Ontario, most of the games are blowouts, so that was quite an adjustment.
You led the WLA with 32 goals in 16 games. Do you think Burnaby is paying special attention to you?
I don't want to say that, but last game there was a few cheap shots given. I took them and gave them back.
John, you were in the middle of controversy, all right, in Game 1, scoring 2 goals, 2 assists, and also earning 2 major penalties for fighting and slashing. Is it hard to keep concentrating through the rough stuff?
Normally I have no problem. Just last game I was really hyper and, I don't know, maybe a little bit nervous going to the finals, the provincials. So I don't think I'll be getting any more penalties this series. So that's going to change.
Well, good luck in the rest of the game, John, and throughout the rest of the tournament. John Tavares from the Vancouver Burrards, a big reason why they're in the WLA final. We'll be right back with second period action right after this.
Back to second period action. Rogers Cable coverage of WLA playoff lacrosse. The Vancouver Burrards being hosted here at Queen's Park Arena by the Burnaby Lakers. And this is kind of a both teams away from home series, if there is such a thing, Dave. The Burrards, of course, calling the Coquitlam Sports Centre their home for the final series, and the Lakers using Queen's Park Arena.
Well, actually, the Burnaby Lakers will love this arena. They beat New West in the 7th game here, and it's just like home. And a lot of their players play their Junior A careers here. So here's the first goal of the game. I heard he goes 1-on-1 with 2 or 3 people, cuts across, gets the stick up in the air. He hit the back pipe, and it went in off of Dave's back, which is one of those unfortunate things. But that time the goalpost wasn't his friend.
That's a bet, and that was, as I said, the first goal of the game. It get Vancouver scoring the first goal of the game, and of course with Burnaby jumping into the lead, that was a very big goal for them. And you notice on that goal, Steve Goodwin, who was normally a very, very good one-on-one player, going for the stick instead of the body. And we heard, as the players coming back to the bench for the start of the second period, I heard Dwight Metke saying, stay on the body, stay on the body, and that's always a key defensively.
Well, Dwight's one of the great students of the game, super intelligent in the mind game of part of it and also in the physical end of it. He's got both of them down pat.
Well, all goaltenders are like that, aren't they?
If you say so, Dave.
Play in action here in the second period. Loose ball to the right of Dallas Elliott. Of course, the teams have changed ends, and Gary Fredrickson picks up the loose ball for Vancouver. Nice look to Day, and Day keeps shooting like that. He's not going to get 4 goals.
No. He shot to the weak side and halfway up, and that's Iliak's strength when you're in tight like that. He's got such quick elbows.
And 2 big saves by Elliott. The first one, a pretty routine save, but Randy Jones, Johnny in the spot for that loose ball, and Elliott made a great save with his left arm. And with less than a minute gone in the second period, that's going to be a big lift right off the bat for Burnaby. Vancouver kind of taking charge at the start of the second period. 2 big saves by Elliott, but once again, Vancouver on that loose ball. Dan Stroop to Jones. Jones comes around the pick set by Day. He's checked by Russ Hurd. Long shot by Jones. Easy pickings for Dallas Elliott, and Burnaby will take over.
Yeah, that's too far out to pick any long shots on Elliott. He just loves those. He vacuum cleans them up, and if you're in on tight on the crease, he picks those off, but it's that 10 to 15 foot area that he has a problem coming across.
Yeah, I think the key to most goaltenders, especially reaction goaltenders like a Metke, like an Elliott, you've got to get them moving laterally, and you want to shoot the ball from 8-10 feet off the crease. If you get in too close, of course, you're playing right into their hands. Big outside shot by John Wilson. The ball off the boards, down the floor, and Vancouver will take over on the 32nd violation.
Johnny Wilson's got to get more involved in the game. He's taking those long 30-foot outside shots and not really involved in the game. He's got to be picking and rolling and going to goal and helping his team out more than he is right now.
Tavares checked by Rawson. Looks like they're trying to match Rick Rawson up with John Tavares as much as they can so far in the game anyways. Nicola takes over the loose ball. Nicola looking up floor to Wilson. Nicola Wilson. Wilson has a little trouble with it. He's picked up by Jensen.
That's what Johnny's got to do more. Break out, hopefully catch the ball on the breakaway, but at least the effort was there and he had the right idea going. He's fast breaking now and getting the game more to his speed and liking.
Robertson, or Andy Holland, excuse me. Chased by Racine. Holland goes behind the net, dishes it out to Robertson. Robertson, he's checked by Katanchik. A little lucky there. Very lucky, actually. Dale Robertson picked up that loose ball after it was stripped by Katanchik, but a 30-second violation once again. We've seen a lot of 30-second violations already tonight. I think that shows maybe I guess, the cautiousness of both teams. Nobody wants to make that mistake and perhaps take the bad shot.
Well, this period starting like the first one, both teams, like you said, very cautious early in and then by the second half of the period, they seem to open up a bit more.
William looks for Goodwin. Goodwin fails to pick up the pass. Ball goes loose in the corner. Goodwin, after his own loose ball, picks it up. 5 seconds left on the clock. Burrards need a shot. There's Chalice. Chalice, big save. Elliott. Loose ball in front. Malcolm, his shot's wide. Vancouver starting to take over on the loose balls.
Vancouver's controlling this period so far, but LAX kept Burnaby in.
William checked by Huntley. Gets it off to Malcolm. Picks up by Randy. Trying to set that pick and roll. Randy Kendrick. Kendrick's open in front of the net. Goodwin just couldn't find him. An interference call against Burnaby. That one not a cheap one. That was just
that was a good call.
A mental error there.
Yeah. Burnaby came up with a loose ball, and then the Vancouver Burrard was checked from behind. So
Sinclair dishes the ball off to Holland. Back to Sinclair. Back to Robertson and up to Hurd. Russ Hurd. There's a guy we haven't talked much about. We've talked about Truant. We've talked about Wilson, but Russ Hurd had a really, really big year for Burnaby.
Yeah, he is up there in the standings, and in the 7-game series against New West, you didn't really hear much of him, but he finished second in the overall scoring in the playoffs in that 7-game series. So he doesn't no flash, just execution.
Yeah, Russ is one of those guys, you don't really notice him all game. You look at the score sheet at the end of the game, and there he is with 3 or 4 points. Burnaby in possession, backhand shot by Pelzer. Only a couple of seconds left on the clock, so he had to take that shot as Vancouver break out. Malcolm trying to pick the pace up as the Burrards try to pick the pace up, get it to the speed that they want to play. All day in the corner, looking for an open man, finally dumps it across floor to Fredrickson. Craig Roy sets the pick, Fredrickson comes around it, he can't find an open man. Jones now sets a pick, Fredrickson comes around that. Nice one-on-one move by Fredrickson, he looks far side, missed the net by probably a foot or so. And the ball goes out of bounds and back over to Burnaby.
I think I saw a couple of his dad's old moves there. Give you the old shoulder, take it away, and just roll around you. His dad's a Hall of Famer, Gordy Fredrickson, a great Burrard from a few years ago. Actually, I think you played way back then, didn't you, Dave?
I did play way back then. Yeah, I broke in as Gordy was retiring, actually. Throw that one in.
Sorry.
The one difference, though, is that Gordy wouldn't take a shot from that angle. He'd be a little more sure of his shooting position. Loose ball in front of the Vancouver net, finally picked up by Craig Roy. Roy dishes it off to Dan Stroop, younger brother of the 2 Stroop brothers, and the Burrards' first-round draft choice this year. Stroop's shot once again goes low. Elliott picks that off, dumps the ball off to his right to Jamie Stewart. Stewart moving the ball up floor, takes it around Nicola. Ball knocked loose, and Stroop will get probably a high sticking call. Borderline call, I think, again, but nevertheless, Vancouver will be a man short.
Well, I know the referees. That's Don Leach, one of the veteran referees in the league, and at times he'll call it pretty tight. And I saw Sohan Gill, the commissioner of the league, call both captains into the dressing room with the referees.
2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty, 5:03.
Called them into the referees room before the game, so maybe they say they're going to call the game very tight, not going to let a lot of the cheap stuff go. They're going to call everything. So if they stay true to form with that, most coaches don't have any problem with it. It's when they let it go after they've called it for so long. Inconsistency.
Yeah, that's all the coaches want is consistency. So 5:03, the time of that penalty, 14:43 now remaining in the second period of play. Burnaby still clinging to that 4-2 lead, but they're on the power play. Wilson dishes off to Hurd. Hurd checked as he got his shot away, and Goodwin picks the loose ball for Vancouver. Steve Goodwin to Malcolm. Malcolm, one of the most exciting players in the league, tries to dish it off to Jones. The ball goes loose in the corner. And Johnny Wilson, a nice move by John Wilson to get around Jones, pick up the loose ball, finds Nicola deep, but a good play by Malcolm, picking up or stripping the ball from Nicola. Nicola in the corner. He's checked by Day. The ball goes loose. Nicola gets it back to Stu Watson. Back to Hurd. Hurd to Wilson. Wilson down to Nicola. And Nicola trying to go one-on-one again like he did on his goal, and I don't think he's going to get that chance again. I think Vancouver's wise to that. They've got to weigh him down on that corner. Their man short. It's going to be awful tough sledding to go one-on-one again.
Brian's got to look now. He's going one-on-one. He feels that the power play will isolate him one-on-one, and that's his forte in field lacrosse around the net. But in box lacrosse, it's such a small, confined area that you only get away with for a while. So what he's got to do is get the one-on-one, draw someone to him to get a 2-on-1, and then feed off. Utilize that power play. Don't try and isolate for himself.
Tavares to Jones as Vancouver looks to kill the penalty. And they've had very good penalty killing all year. Nice move by Jensen, get away from Cowison. He pulls the ball back. Jensen double teamed by Holland and Cowison, dishes off to Tavares. Tavares checked by Huntley. Holland comes across to double team as Tavares beats both Holland and Huntley. Tries to beat the two of them, goes to the ball once too often as Huntley takes over. Huntley on the break, chased by Tavares. Huntley one-on-one with Corvar, hits the pipe. And Tavares will go off for a high sticking penalty as Huntley down in the corner. I don't know exactly what he did, whether he fell on his own stick in the corner. It looks like he's okay. He's seated now.
Tavares got the penalty for high sticking, Dave, so maybe when he came down, knocked him. Here comes the replay here. We'll see it. There's Tavares, chops down, going for his stick, but he caught him on the shoulder and part of the helmet, and it looks like he just tripped Tommy up. Tommy's one of those young fellas that's just gotten better year after year and developed the skills, and married now with children, and all these young guys, Dave, are getting old on us. They're catching up to our age.
They're not young guys anymore.
No. This is a great shot. Great camera work, fellas. There it is. Look. Oh, good try, Tommy. Must say these Roger Cablevision fellas, the camera worked a great job for them, game after game. We wish to thank them for all the big dollars they get to do this. They do a great job.
Katanchik, Vancouver 2 men short now.
Looked like Todd was trying to pass to Malcolm there, but the pass went to Iliak.
Stroop's penalty's up. Wilson's outside shot misses the net. Wilson picks up his own rebound. Vancouver now 1 man short. 1 minute and 30 seconds left in Tavares' penalty. Once again, Nicola goes one-on-one, and this time he does dish it off to Wilson. Wilson's shot wide, though. I think he must have been listening to you, Davey. At least he did. He dished the ball off that time to Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson couldn't find the net.
Yeah. Well, Johnny was right there in the high percentage spot, and Brian had nowhere to go. But Johnny's got to start hitting the corners or hitting the net. He's shooting awfully wide and getting big rebounds. At least he's getting the opportunity to shoot.
Now to Todd Racine, has trouble, and the ball off the boards. 1 minute and 10 seconds left in Tavares' penalty. The ball up to Holland. He'll hang on while Burnaby gets their power play back on the floor.
One of the things that the players should note, by not playing in this arena consistently all the time, such as the Salmon Bellies do, you can't bounce pass very often in here. You get some dead boards, and it does all kinds of crazy things. That's why Vancouver lost that ball on that short man.
Russ Hurd goes one-on-one. His shot goes wide, out of bounds, and Vancouver will take over. 45 seconds left on the penalty to Tavares as Tony Malcolm takes over for Vancouver. They'll try and kill the remaining 40 seconds of the penalty. Malcolm to Jones. There's that bounce pass once again, and Jones had a little trouble with that.
I just shiver every time I see that bounce pass.
Long pass, and that time it took a live bounce. The ball almost back into the crease by Stewart, and it was called back in the crease as the ball came off the boards.
Again, it's one of those technical calls that I disagree with. The player had it, but bounced through the crease, bounced off the backboards, and then the goalie got it. I mean, there is no direction into the crease whatsoever. I don't think they understand what that rule was meant for. Again, who am I to say? The referees are making all the money.
Paul Day's pass to Dean Stroop. Stroop tries to dish it off. It's picked off by Burnaby. 8 seconds left in the penalty to Tavares. Burnaby comes out 2-on-1. Huntley will try and find Robertson. Nice play to Robertson. Little in too close, though. Corvar takes over, and the penalty to Tavares is up. Vancouver now breaks out. Off the bench comes Racine. Jensen with possession. Jensen looks for Racine. Couldn't get the pass to him. As Sinclair picks the ball up off the boards, and Burnaby comes back. And like we said, the pace starting to pick up a little bit now. 11 minutes remaining in the second period. No goals scored in this period, but the pace starting to pick up a bit, and I'm sure the goals will start to come.
I don't think there's been a lot of great shots on goal. There's been a lot of shots missing the net, Dave, but I don't think the goalies have had to be in as sharp as they had to be in the first period.
Now, Elliott had a couple of good saves early in the period, and since then we've had shots like that one right into the pads.
throat.
Yep, right into the pads, and Corvar looks like he took that one.
I thought it went high in around the throat area, and the ball's gone down behind his belly pad, in between his chest and belly pad. But
yeah, he took it up on the collarbone and throat. You see referee Leach motioning to his collarbone or his throat. There's veteran Vancouver trainer Jerry Taylor out on the floor checking out Dave Corvar.
I just had a thought looking at that picture about Jerry, and if he ever goes on the Hall of Fame, that's a picture all us ex-Burrards will remember him by.
Yes, it certainly will. And we won't expand any further on that. Expand, so to speak, on that. We're going to look at Dave Corvar from behind as I'm sure you'll be all right. He took that shot up either on the throat. It sounded from the sound of it up here that it may have hit the plastic guard that comes down over his throat, pushed back into his neck. He gets a drink of water, and he'll be fine. It's a nice round of applause from a pretty good crowd here at Queen's Park Arena.
Yeah, very good crowd. It was almost a sellout at the Coquitlam Marina for the first game, and exceptional crowd here in New West. These games are just going to get better. I can see this series being 6 or 7 games, just the way Burnaby plays. They come hot one night and sort of cool off the next night, and they can create it to go 7 games.
And whether that was an accident or not, but just after Dave Corver got hurt, we flashed in on his girlfriend in the stands. I don't know if that was purely accidental or some ESP by our camera people.
Oh, there's a delayed penalty on it. Goodwin's being a little too physical.
And those are the penalties. Really, really an undisciplined call. Up at center floor near the boards. Those are the penalties you can't take, and we certainly can't. A good call by referee Brent Wynn, a high stick by Goodwin. And I'm sure Coach Danny Cameron will have a talk with his guys between periods, if not before. They've got to stay out of the penalty box.
Exactly.
They've controlled this period for the most part, but they're still 2
2
goals
minutes
behind.
for high sticking.
They just
Time
can't
of the penalty,
disrupt the flow of the play by
9:31.
taking those silly penalties.
Just speaking about Brent Wynn, he's a rookie in the WLA this year, and he's done a great job. He's inexperienced, but he's developed as a senior referee. He still has to learn a lot more about the senior game, but it's good to see these new referees coming into the league, because we certainly need new faces in the referee corps. Don Leach has been here forever, it seems. So they've got a good matchup. Senior guy, young guy, and they seem to be a good team tonight.
Vancouver called for putting the ball back over the restraining line, so Burnaby will take over again on the power play. Wilson sets it up to Hurd. Back to Wilson, to Hurd. Down to the crease, back to Wilson. Nice move by Johnny Wilson. His shot goes wide, though.
Some good power play action on that. That was excellent. Nice to see. Oh! Is that off the pipe?
Great play by Brian Nicola, and Watson shot off the pipe. And once again, he drew a man and is now looking off. So I'm sure Coach Luthwaite has told him the same thing that you mentioned earlier. Big save by Elliott on the break by Katanchik.
Good call.
There's going to be a penalty there, and that is a great, great call.
That's about time someone called it.
Yep, I don't think that's called enough. Normally, most referees will let that go, give the goaltender possession, but unquestionably, Dallas Elliott had complete control of that ball. He was looking up the floor to pass. Katanchik, a stupid penalty. What else can you say?
Well, here.
To number 10, Todd Katanchuk.
Here's the pass by
2 minutes for crease violation. Time of the penalty, 10:19.
Yeah, here we go. And Malcolm's coming back. Another shot, and Elliott will make a great save short side there. 2 great saves. I think on that replay, I think Dave did come up with the arm save on that.
Nicola across to Watson. Watson comes across. Nice save by Korovar. Burrards again, 2 men short.
Well, here we go. Loose ball coming back to Eliak. They'll just move it back up to center.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in the first penalty to Goodwin. Burnaby still with a 2-man advantage. Wilson. Wilson to Hurd. Hurd to Nicola. Didn't get through. Malcolm, a good move by Tony Malcolm to get a piece of it. Day just dumps the ball down the floor. Pretty smart move by Day in that situation.
Yes.
Not an awful lot he could do there.
Either try and run it out himself, hopefully not losing his own end, or just toss it down. Get a breather.
Wilson to Nicola. Easy save there by Korovar as Wilson, or Nicola, pardon me, tried to go one-on-one again. Vancouver take over. Tony Malcolm, checked by Wilson. Malcolm, there's that bounce pass once again, and again Jones had trouble with it. And like you say, it's tough in here to throw that bounce pass, and it's going to make it tough for the penalty killing teams.
If you're going to bounce it, you've got to bounce it halfway in between the distance between the two players. You can't bounce it at his feet. Excellent.
Nice goal by Al Truant. We'll get a look on the replay. It went Wilson down to the crease to Watson. The Vancouver player on the man short turned his back to Truant. Truant came through, and a great bounce shot down low on Korovar's glove side.
I mean, it's just a super high percentage shot. Here it's set up here by Wilson. Takes his time, gets it set up, gets it down low. There's Truant right there. Just a gorgeous shot. No delay in the release. He didn't give Davey a chance to get set so he can use his reflex. He just shot it right in that bottom low corner.
So 5-2 lead for Burnaby. The first goal of the second period, actually. 8:21 remaining in the second period. Burnaby with a fairly commanding 5-2 lead. Dan Stroop for Vancouver into the corner to Fredrickson. Fredrickson comes around.
Lakers' 5th goal, a power play goal scored by number 22, Al Truant. Assist to number
This is off
13,
the-
John Wilson.
Andy Holland.
And number
Holland, a former
12,
Burrard,
Stu
brings the ball
Watson.
up floor.
That's Truant from Wilson and Watson.
Holland comes around
Time
the
of
pick
the
set
goal,
by Sinclair.
11:33.
Back out to Robertson. Robertson has a goal tonight already for Burnaby. Robertson looks down to the crease to Huntley. Huntley comes around Holland's pick, can't get the shot away, tries to set that back door. 5 seconds left on the clock. Burnaby will have to get a shot away awfully quickly. Brian Jovier, the ball is loose in the corner, out of bounds, and Vancouver will take over. Vancouver's got to get back into this thing offensively very quickly.
Yeah, the players that I see that haven't shown anything tonight, Jensen and Jones, they were ranked high in the league, 1, 2, 3, in around there and finishing in the league, and they haven't done a lot of offensive things tonight. They've got to open it up. Tavares is getting his opportunities, but not finishing.
I think Todd Katanchik with the ball now has probably had more opportunities for Vancouver than any other players. And Todd certainly not noted as an offensive threat. A great defensive player, a great face-off man, a loose ball man. But I think trying to get in Danny Cameron's shoes for a couple of minutes, if Todd Katanchik's the guy getting the most of your chances, something's got to be shaken up.
Yeah.
Watch your back, watch your back!
Thomas checked by Jensen. Kenny Thomas goes around behind the goal, looking to dish it off. Nobody's open. Some good defense by Vancouver.
Well, 2 of the 5 goals that Burnaby have, I believe it's 2 or is it 3, Dave, have been from power play. So it's been pretty even when they're 5-on-5, and we just haven't seen Vancouver's 5-on-5 dominate like they can on the transitional game.
And I think, like to say, the big key is they're not getting that fast break. And I think the key to that, perhaps, is the change in goaltending. Metke gets that ball out of there quickly.
That's right.
Just really initiates that fast break. And we talked about Burnaby's line changes being slow. Really, tonight, both teams are getting set up with only 18, 20 seconds left on the clock. And it's going to be quicker for that for Vancouver to be successful. Back to Nicola. Nicola's outside shot, stopped by Korevar.
Step out, step out!
Wilson checked by Kendrick. Nice look by Wilson down to the crease to Ross, and his shot misses the net. Nicola after a loose ball, chased by Chalice, and Goodwin takes over Vancouver. Goodwin tries to get the ball up the floor quickly, but nobody's there with him. He has to pull back.
You hit the nail on the head, Dave. I was just going to comment that he had no one with him, which is uncharacteristic of Vancouver. Usually when they have a guy fast breaking with the ball, there's another 3 with him. But tonight, you're only seeing that 1, maybe 2 guys.
Jones checked by Nicola, or by Rawson, dishes it off into the corner. Dan Stroop. Stroop's outside shot, picked off easily by Elliott. Burnaby takes over. 5:19 remaining in the second period. 5-2 the score in favor of the Burnaby Lakers. They trail in the series 1-0, with Vancouver winning the first game by a 12-6 score. But we're seeing a different Burnaby team here tonight.
Burnaby's playing the good ball control game. Nothing fancy, just good defense and taking their time on offense.
Huntley to Robertson. Robertson shot wide of the net. Loose ball picked up in the crease by Stroop. That's Dan Stroop. He'll dump the ball off to Paul Day. Once again, it's 2 against 4, and Day will have to pull it back out again. And he does, back to Racine. Racine on the left wing, comes around the pick. Nothing's happening there, though, and he goes back. He looks into the corner down to Jensen. Jensen to Tavares. Nice move by Tavares. Shot. Another big save by Elliott. As Tavares tried to bounce it off the back of Elliott. Not a bad idea, but...
Why not? If nothing else is going, why not try some fancy stuff?
Sinclair for Burnaby. On the interference call, Burnaby takes over. Sinclair, once again, that controlled line change up to Ken Thomas. Thomas on the left wing. He's picked up by Katanchik, waiting for the pick by Hurd. And Tavares steps out, picks up Thomas. Now Truant goes one-on-one, and a lucky break there. That could very easily have been a holding call against Vancouver. A very lucky break there. Let's see if they can make something of it. Oyam, he's pushed off by Hurd, and Oyam takes a real low percentage shot. And Vancouver's starting to get a little bit panicky here. I think they're taking several low percentage shots in the last couple of shifts.
What I'm seeing out there, they're doing it as individuals. The matchups, their left-handers aren't working together, nor their right-handers. They're trying to go one-on-ones or just be individuals rather than picking and rolling. Whereas Burnaby are working the play in groups of 2.
Nicola in front to Stewart. Stewart comes around. Nice save by Korevar. Didn't see it, but it hit him. Another interference call after the play. A close call, but again, a kind of a stupid move on the Vancouver player's part. Korevar had possession of the ball. a needless interference that gives Burnaby possession. And now with a 3-goal lead, only 3.5 minutes or less than 3.5 minutes remaining in the second period, possession getting more and more important. Wilson's backhand shot.
He tried to sneak one in there.
And he almost did. That wasn't that far off the mark. Nicola takes over.
Well, he's Johnny Wilson on the crease.
Nicola's shot stopped by Korovar. Loose ball picked up by Malcolm. Malcolm brings the ball up floor, but once again he's 1-on-2. Malcolm shoots from outside, and certainly not Tony Malcolm's strong point, the outside shot. Elliott picks that off easily, dishes it off to Darren London. London back to Wilson. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the second period. Wilson passes off to Andy Holland as Burnaby complete their line change. Holland picked up by Fredrickson. Comes around the pick set by Sinclair. Holland still in possession.
Vancouver just don't seem to be physical on defense tonight. Burnaby are picking and rolling and getting free in on the crease all night long. If they've got to get more physical.
Fredrickson on the break. He takes a shot from a bad angle. Elliott makes a save. Once again, a shot from a poor angle. Instead of holding that ball but looking for a cutter from behind, Fredrickson let it go. That's not the kind of shot that's going to beat Dallas Elliott. In fact, it's the kind of shot that's going to get Dallas more and more into the game.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Dallas just feeds on low percentage shots, shot from off balance. There's a good cut. But that's what coaches always tell their defense. Force the team to shoot off balance and on a low percentage because their goalies can eat them up.
Vancouver on the break. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the second period. Dan Stroop. Stroop to Jensen. Katanjik's through the middle if Jensen can find him, but he couldn't find him. Takes the ball down to the corner. Out to Dean Stroop. Loose ball fought for by Dan Stroop and Tavares. Tavares dumps the ball into the corner. Jensen and Hurd after it. And finally, Dan Stroop comes in, picks up the loose ball. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Stroop needs a shot quickly. Dumps it into the corner, and Burnaby will take over on the 32nd turnover. 1.5 minutes remaining. Only 1 goal scored in this period, the power play goals. We look at Al Luthwaite. I don't think coaches ever look happy, do they? Al's still frowning. He's got that ear-to-ear frown.
Yeah, when you watch Al, you never know if he's up or down or enjoying the game or disappointed. He always seems to have that same look. But Danny Cameron, from time to time, will let you know if he's excited.
Well, that's for sure. And I think if we could get in that Vancouver dressing room between periods, I think we might see Danny get a little bit excited because Vancouver have been really, really lethargic, both defensively and offensively. And Wilson on the break.
2-0.
Wilson comes in alone. Nice move by Wilson, and again the pipe comes to Dave Korovar's rescue. Vancouver come back. They're 3-on-3, 4-on-3. I think if Jensen gets into play. Jensen, nice look by Jensen to Katanjik. He fires the ball wide over the end boards, and with 49 seconds left, Burnaby takes over.
Those are the shots that have to go in. I mean, you don't get too many of those wide open nets in a game, and Todd's going to be thinking about that. Was the key time to score a goal. 5-3, only 2 goals down, but they're certainly not out of it. It's only 3 goals, and a game is like lacrosse. 3 goals is really nothing.
And we've seen Vancouver come back from bigger depth with assists from this as the season progressed. So they're certainly not out of it. 5 seconds left in the shot clock. Jariga trying to beat Racine. Jariga dishes it back to Robertson. Robertson lets a long shot go. Korovar picks that off easily. Vancouver take over. 15 seconds left on the clock. Katanjik to Jones.
Here's the situation. Pull the goalie and throw it to 6th man. Live dangerously.
Nice look by Chalice in front of the net. Elliott picks that up on the face mask. Burnaby kills the clock, and only 1 goal scored, the power play goal in that second period by Al Truant, and a 5-2 lead for Burnaby. And I think the key, once again, whether it's Burnaby getting back defensively as well as they are, I'm beginning to think also, as we mentioned during the period, a case of Vancouver just being a little bit lethargic defensively and offensively. They don't have the jump they certainly had on Monday's game.
Yeah, I think Burnaby's taken their game away, though. They're controlling the ball. Burnaby didn't come out running and gunning, which would allow Vancouver to get into that mode of wanting to run and gun themselves. Burnaby's taken their time, slowed the play down, but the key thing is their transition from offense to defense. They've gotten back in groups of 5. I just think Dan will probably go in with the Vancouver team and say, hey, boys, 3 goals. We've been there before. This is our period. We've ran them for 40 minutes, but I think that's the secret there. Burnaby has not been forced to run all out. So I think they're going to have lots left in this next 20 minutes. So if they play their same ball control game as they have in the first 40, I think Burnaby can pull this game out. Vancouver have got to do a lot of good things. I mean, they've got to really force that transition game from defense to offense and then execute. Finish the play off. They can't be hitting the pipe. They can't be missing the net. And they've got to put it in the open hole. So it's going to be an interesting 20 minutes coming up. I'm excited about it. I can see Vancouver maybe getting a little more physical on defense, so they don't want to give up any more goals, especially the first one or two in the next period.
Yeah, I think Danny Cameron, Vancouver's coach, of course, was a defensive type of player when he played. And I'm sure he'll be telling his players, like you mentioned, to get more intense on defense, and hopefully that'll carry over. Get the offense a little more intense. We mentioned Johnny Wilson during the period, how he's got to get involved in the play. Dean has John down at floor level. Let's go down to Dean and scoring champion John Wilson.
Yes, I am with John Wilson, the WLA scoring champ. John, you just missed on a breakaway there. What happened?
Stopped fleck. I stopped, had the goalie beat it. I reached around him and just banged it off the post.
It's unlucky. Bad luck, that's for sure. After the grueling 7-game series with the Salmon Bellies, how are you feeling?
Not too bad. I mean, of course, be a little bit worn down after playing 7 games. It's a physical series, and we got our legs back tonight. We kind of lost from our first game there, but tonight we're doing pretty good.
Your team looked a little tired in the final period of Game 1. What have you guys done to turn things around?
We're just working hard. 5 guys out there at a time. They got to work hard both ends of the floor, and the key to winning is you got to get loose balls. So we're going hard after those.
You shared the scoring crown with Vancouver's Randy Jones. Was there anything special you did to prepare yourself game in and game out?
I try and get myself motivated as much as possible during the day and think about the game and who I'm going to face, who's going to be in goal. And I go out and watch some of the guys play, so I know what their habits are, and I try and capitalize on the bad habits.
Thanks very much, John. Continued success in the rest of the finals, and good luck in the rest of the game.
Thanks very much.
John Wilson, big-time player in the WLA. We'll be right back for third period action right after this.
Welcome back to Queen's Park Arena in New Westminster. You see the score, 5-2 for the Burnaby Lakers in Game 2 of Western Lacrosse Association final action. Dave, I think an interesting period coming up. I think Vancouver, like we said at the end of the first period, has got to pick the pace up. They've got to start playing their game. Burnaby, of course, has got to take that away from them. We saw 1 goal in that second period of play, a great power play effort, a classic power play goal, I guess, if there is such a thing as a classic power play goal by junior pickup Al Truant. A nice feed from Wilson down to Stu Watson. The only goal of the period, not that many real good chances in the period.
No, it wasn't a great offensive period. That power play goal was picture book perfect. But I think the first 5 minutes, here's the power play goal. Wilson just takes his time, brings it down, puts it low in the corner, and there's Truant. Quick release. I think that was the key. That was the key.
And there's our summary of scoring in the second period, such as it is. As we mentioned, only 1 goal scored. Let's hope there's some more goals scored in this period. And I think, as we say, Vancouver's got to get goals early, set the pace that they want to play. Burnaby has got to try and take that away. Rich Catamore right off the face-off, and they're doing just what we said. Down to Racine. Racine scores. And, hey, are we mind readers or what? Only 6 seconds gone in the second period.
No goal. He called it no goal. I mean, if there's anything to get me off my seat is for a referee to call a goal back. I mean, that's what the fans are here for.
You to do this. They should have done it a long time ago.
The fans are here to see goals scored, and from here I certainly didn't see his feet in the crease or anything like that. But I think the first 5 minutes of this period is we've got to watch Vancouver if they come out running and gunning and really forcing the ball to goal. If they don't, and Burnaby take control again, Burnaby will probably come up and win the game.
Vancouver's got to come back from that call too. 6 seconds gone in the period, but it looked like a good goal, and Tavares just takes an incredibly stupid penalty. What did he say in the interview with Dean between periods? We weren't going to see him take any more penalties?
Well, Danny's just picked up the water ball and is cooling himself off. He's a little disappointed at that, but he's probably asked his guys to be a little more physical, and sometimes that can react. Oops, great goal, nice bounce shot.
Nice bounce shot, high to the short side of Corrivar by Stu Watson. Of course, that'll wipe out the penalty by to Tavares, but just under 2 minutes gone, or just over a minute gone, pardon me, in the second and third period. Burnaby jumps into a 6-2 lead. Vancouver needs goals, and they need goals bad. There you see Stu Watson, a beautiful shot, a bounce shot right to the corner, and here's a look at that goal.
Feeds it across, and Watson just takes his time, bounce shots, and picks him on, I believe, the short side or through his legs. But Watson's not known. He had 1 in 9 in that first series, so he's not
Lakers
considered one of their prolific goal
scored by
scorers.
number 12, Stu Watson.
And it's people like
Assist to number 13, John Wilson. And number 8, Andy Holland.
It's people like Stu
Time of the
Watson that
goal,
win you
101.
championships. The guys in the middle of the pack or at the lower end of the scoring statistics that end up winning championships for you. Vancouver is a little bit behind the 8 ball now. They came out running gun and got a goal, had it called back. They had to play tough defense not to allow the first goal. So let's see if they are going to be champions this year. This is a good test for them.
And something we've got to look at is a possibility of Danny Cameron making a goaltending change. Not that Korovar is playing poorly, but to pick up the pace offensively. And another Vancouver penalty, a high sticking penalty once again. I'm not sure who got the penalty. We didn't get an indication from referee Don Leach. Everybody's kind of standing looking.
Oh, it's behind the play. Goodwin seems to draw the penalties because he's one of those aggressive players, and he has that tendency to do things just after the pass is gone or after at the back of the play.
Steve Goodwin. 2 minutes for high sticking.
So Goodwin
time
off
of the
for high
penalty,
sticking.
1:29.
1:29, the time of that penalty. And Vancouver's got to start thinking not just killing the penalty, but going for goals on the penalty now with a 4-goal deficit. Burnaby, of course, in great shape on the power play once again. Wilson will set it up for them. John Wilson crosses center for the regular power play of Wilson, Hurd, Truant, Nicola, and Jamie Stewart down in the crease now in place of Watson. And watch for Jamie Stewart to come around the crease. They ran this play the other night. As Stewart, of course, you mentioned, can switch hands, but Vancouver picked it up. Nothing came of it. And Truant comes in. His shot goes wide. I guess Korovar got a piece of that. We got a reset in the 32nd. It looked like that shot went wide, but I guess they gave Korovar a save on that. Back to Wilson. Wilson down to the crease to Stewart. Jamie Stewart across to Nicola. Big save by Korovar. Paul Day crosses center forward for Vancouver. Day double teamed by Cowson and Huntley. Ball lobbed into the corner for Jensen. Jensen has a bounce off the back of his head. Almost picks up the loose ball, but it rolls into the crease. Elliott picks it up, and Burnaby take over. Less than a minute remaining on Goodwin's penalty. Jensen forechecking deep in the Burnaby corner, but the Lakers bring it out. Jamie Stewart will carry the ball deep into the corner. Looks out to Truant. Nice move by Truant again, and Truant, a carbon copy almost of the second period goal. L. Truant, the junior call-up from the Burnaby Cablevision junior team, gets his second goal of the game, his second power play goal of the game, and that could almost spell the end.
Here's a replay here. Stewart's bringing it down low. He just takes his time. He sees that the short man's wide open, and Truant saw it also, and he cut through. Katanchuk should have been dropping back deeper, cutting off that cutting zone, and he certainly didn't, and Truant finished the playoff. Here it comes again. You see him slowly bringing it down
Lakers,
in the corner, looking into
goal,
the
a power
short
play
man.
goal scored
there it
by
is,
number
quick release
22,
again.
Al Truant. Assist to number 7, Jamie Stewart, and number 13, John Wilson.
And as well as that Burnaby power play has looked, I really haven't been that impressed with Vancouver's short man play tonight. They're not putting any pressure on the ball, which you've got to do to play that diamond. And the rotation in the diamond has been sloppy at best.
Not to second guess Dan now, but it could be a time to just get some new blood in there, put Metke in, a change of scenery, get the players running gunning now. They have to get the run and gun game to get back into this game.
Metke's still down on the gate on the Vancouver bench, not looking to put his equipment on, so it looks like Cameron's going to stay with Dave Korovar. Korovar, of course, hasn't played badly in the nets, but as you say, Vancouver's got to get that pace up to the way they want to play it, and that isn't going to happen with Dave Korovar in the nets. Jones to Malcolm as Malcolm brings the ball over center forward. Once again, Burnaby right back on defense. It's a 5-man unit waiting for them. Chalice off the boards, pushed from behind by Troy Pelzer. Questionable.
I guess I'm from the old school, body to body and let them work for the ball. This interference is typically junior calls, and That's the inexperience of Brent, not letting the guys play and win or lose the game themselves.
Goodwin, he's on the wrong side of the floor. He'll look off, tries to get it to Chalice in front of the net. That pass goes astray, and Terry Oem picks up the loose ball. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Oem tries to go it alone, but Goodwin picks up the loose ball. He has trouble with it. He's checked off the play. Randy Kendrick, with only 5 seconds left on the clock, takes a long shot into the body of Keith Callison. The ball goes loose, and Vancouver will turn it over once again on the 30-second clock. And we've mentioned it before, but I'm really, really impressed by Burnaby's team defense.
Well, they've certainly come together, and as John Wilson pointed out, we're just groups of 5 doing their job shift to shift and not doing anything special, but just trying to work hard on every shift, and they're executing well. I think Johnny would like to have that pass back. That was too cute.
Yeah, executing well most of the time. Terry Oem.
Yeah, we just saw it again. Burnaby's back, groups of 5, and now Burrards have fallen right into Burnaby's trap of taking 15-second line changes with no explosion.
And this is something where we really haven't mentioned this before, but Vancouver used to playing all year on the big floor at the Agrodome, and Queen's Park,
great goal.
And a nice goal. Big goal, too, by Dean Stroop. 14:53 remaining. Vancouver's right back in this game.
7-3 now, 4 goals away, 14:53, like you said. We'll see on the replay here. He'll make the diagonal cut across. Right here, he'll cut across and then pick the far corner. Here it goes, back to him, cuts across. There, look at that. Got Eliak going to his left and picked that far right-hand top corner. Just a great finish in getting a goal for his team. And that's how you have to shoot on a goalie, intelligent. Here it comes. Oh.
Here it comes, there it goes. It was a great shot, and something, we mentioned Vancouver in the second period, late in the second period, getting a bit frustrated, trying to do it alone. That time there was lots of ball movement, lots of player movement off the ball.
Burrards' third goal, scored by number 23, Dean Stroop. Assist to number 21, Paul Day, and number 16, Dan Stroop.
Here we see it again. Jones feeds Dan Stroop.
Now Stroop gives it, and now he sees the opening, and he'll cut across. There he is.
And a beautiful shot. You shot a great look. Great bit of camera work once again, right over Dallas Eliak's right shoulder.
Well, I see Dallas Eliak is magically his face mask strap came undone, and whether it was intentional or if it actually happened, it's a great move to maybe slow the pace down, get his guys to say, hey, it's just a goal, relax, and don't get uptight. Don't let them get that 2 or 3 in a row.
And that's a sign of a veteran goaltender. It's amazing how those straps on leg pads and helmets and things like that tend to go just after a goal like that. Oh, nice move by Andy, and a great move by Andy Holland. Randy Jones would certainly love to have another shot at Andy Holland on that, but we'll see that on the replay, I hope, coming up. A great one-on move by Holland, a great look by Huntley, a great fake, and a hell of a shot.
It was a great offensive play because Vancouver not playing a tight box. If you see all that space in the middle, he cuts right through, and there's not a Burrard in sight when he makes his cut, his diagonal cut through. I mean, Fredrickson was standing there, whether that was his man or not, or if he got picked off. There was just no one backing up the ball side or the off-ball side. What the Burrards have to do is get back into that tight 5-man defense. Right now, Burnaby's got them pulled out and getting these shots.
And Matt, is that a big goal or is that a big goal? Less than 10 seconds after Vancouver scores, Burnaby comes right back, gets back into that 5-goal lead. 14 minutes remaining. That's going to be awful tough for Vancouver to get back.
Well, and tonight's lucky 50-50.
Well, that's how teams win games. Is the other team scores and then they come right back and score, or they don't. They cut them off. They stop them from getting that 2 and 3 goals in a row.
Lakers, 8th goal, scored by number 8.
3-on-3. Rich
Andy
Cannibal, nice
Holland.
move by Cannibal, his shot.
Assist to number 66, Tom Huntley.
Loose ball.
And number 3, Dale Robertson.
Right back to
Time of the goal, 5:24.
Malcolm to Goodwin. Goodwin looks across to Malcolm. Malcolm just kind of shovels the ball. Randy Kendrick tried to pick it up in front of the net, kind of shoveled the ball in Eliak's direction, missed the net. Burnaby take over. They'll be content now to use that 30-second clock to their advantage for the rest of this game with just 13 minutes remaining.
In all fairness to Malcolm, you know, he's trying, he's working hard on offense. But Vancouver can't be relying him to shoot and score from outside. Chellis has hardly seen the ball on offense this game, and he's the guy that this line has to get the ball to. He and Oim have to be shooting more, because they're the goal scorers on that line.
That's been the case a good part of the night. It seems the guys who should be putting the ball in the net aren't getting the ball, and the Katanchiks, the Malcolms, the Danny Stroops, the good ones are handling the ball an awful lot. Nice look by Nicola in front of Ross, and he has trouble with it. Ball goes loose in the corner.
There again, there's that wide open defense, but Burnaby are recognizing it, and they're making the cuts through the center. They're showing a lot tonight because Vancouver's not physical in the middle. They're cutting right through and getting the pass and the scoring opportunity.
It's a sign of a good coaching job by Coach Luthwaite and Bill Browning down at the Burnaby bench too. Shot by Nicola from a bad angle. Vancouver take over. Moyam looking up forward, tries the long ball to Fredrickson. Wilson very smartly knocked that away. Burnaby take over again. Watson back to Rawson. And they'll once again just take their time. 12 minutes remaining. The minutes tick off, and they're ticking off none too quickly for Coach Luthwaite of Burnaby, and very, very quickly for Dan Cameron. Dale Robertson, he has one golden light for Burnaby. Robertson out in front. Not a bad little backhand shot from there, but only 5 seconds left on the clock. Ball goes loose in the corner. Clock still running, and Vancouver will take over on a 30-second turnover. And right away, Burnaby's got two people back on defense.
Oh. Jones and Day trying to match up there, but maybe just rushing it too much. And they're not finishing the play off well and getting high percentage shots on goal. I'm not sure if Dan's going to shorten his bench up, maybe go 2 lines or not. We could start watching for that in the next little while, Dave.
Yep. As Troy Pelzer, nice loose ball in the corner. 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, that's a new 30. Oh, wait a minute. Don Leach was right on the play, and he realized that the shot hit the goalie before the 30-second horn went, and he called it right. That is a 30-second turnover, but because they've called the whistle dead, they have to face it off now. But Brent Wynn, you know, that was not his call. He should not have overrode Don Leach's call, because Don was right on the play. But this is the best way to sell it, with the face-off, which is unfortunate for Vancouver. Actually, Burnaby, because the ball was swatted back into the Burnaby end, if I recall.
Yeah, Burnaby would have got possession. Just while we got a quick break here, just a reminder to fans that Minto Cup Junior A lacrosse action coming up next week. The 3-team round robin will be featuring the Richmond Outlaws and Esquimalt Legion of Vancouver, or British Columbia League, against the winners of the Ontario Lacrosse League, Junior A Lacrosse League. And that series will start next week, and Rogers Cable 4 will be picking up at least one of those games, so you'll be seeing some exciting Canadian Championship Minto Cup Junior A Lacrosse action next week. Back to live action here as Troy Pelzer takes the ball deep into his own end. We're almost halfway through the 3rd period of play. Burnaby well in control of this game with a 5-goal lead, 8-3 with 10:23 remaining in the 3rd period of play. Stu Watson. Stu Watson's played very well for Burnaby tonight, I think.
Well, he's played steady. He's played smart lacrosse. I think he's only had the 1 shot on goal, but he scored. There's a second shot and scored again. I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, it's the guys at the bottom of the scoring stats. When it comes playoff time, they start popping in goals, and that's how you win championships. It's those guys that win championships. Here he is. He beats 2 guys at center. 2 more. Picks up another loose ball. Just takes his time coming down. All of a sudden sees low, and that was low stick side, Dave, which should never go in, but it was an excellent, well-placed shot.
It's a nice shot, but probably should have been stopped. I think in all fairness to Koravar, that probably should have been stopped too. Nicola right off the face-off. It's now 10-3. I think realistically that we can certainly chalk this one up for Burnaby. Maybe a little bit premature, but a 7-goal lead with only 10 minutes remaining in the game.
Well, I don't think it's premature to say that it's Burnaby's game. I mean, they have to have a total collapse here to lose this game. They've shown in the first 50 minutes that they're the best team out there tonight. They're playing a very smart and intelligent game tonight. Ball control,
Lakers' 9th goal,
defense,
scored by
and,
number 12,
good team
Stu Watson, unassisted.
Yeah, I think one of
Time
the
of
keys
the goal,
we mentioned is
9:50.
is that
Goal scored by number
Burnaby players are not playing
55,
outside
Brian
their
Nicola.
capabilities. Everybody's
Assist
doing
to
their
number
job.
13, John Wilson. Time of the goal, 9:55.
We've mentioned several times Vancouver has their players who are not expected to be the scorers doing the shooting. Burnaby, on the other hand, their loose ball guys are getting the loose ball. Their goal scorers have been doing the shooting. And consequently, it makes it difficult for Vancouver to focus on anybody in particular. And now you see Watson picking up goals.
Especially when they're not playing team defense. If they don't play team defense, it carries on down into the offense. And when you're not playing a team defense, the other team's average players end up getting the goals usually.
Time
You
of
see
the penalty,
Rick Rawson
10:02.
going off. Rick Rawson is kind of a Burnaby version of Steve Goodwin, a big, aggressive player who draws a lot of penalties by his aggressiveness. He's off for high sticking. Less than 10 minutes remaining in the third period. A chance for Vancouver on the power play to at least make this game respectable. Whether a power play goal at this point is going to get them back in the game, they've got to show Burnaby before tomorrow night's game that they're ready to play in this series, because they certainly haven't been tonight.
Well, it's going to be one of those maybe home-and-home series where both teams will be up every other night. But Rick Rawson, I think, was one of those unsung heroes in that 7-game series against New West. As you said, big, strong, tough kid. Oim, top corner, quick release. That's what they got to have on the power play.
Nice power play goal by Terry Oim, and a nice feed from Todd Racine. 10-4. I guess it's not out of reach for Vancouver, but winning the game perhaps is out of reach, but at least making the game respectable isn't. I think psychologically, with the games being played back-to-back, if you see a replay on that.
Yeah, just a quick release on Oim on the crease. That's a sign of a good crease man. Just a quick stick shot into the open corner. Top corner, usually 9 times out of 10, there's about 3 inches, and a good crease man will hit that as the goalie's coming across. They can't stop it.
Vancouver back in possession. Katanchik taking the
Burrards'
face
fourth goal scored by number 88.
Well, if Vancouver
Terry
come up with
Ohm.
2 quick ones now,
Assist to number
I think
9,
the game's
Todd
back
Racine.
on. But
And number 6, John
Burnaby, if they come up
Tavares.
with one stop
Time
the
of the
run.
goal, 10:34.
The clock is definitely on Burnaby's side now, and Vancouver's got to work for better shots than that, than the one that Racine just took. Realistically, Vancouver has to score on their next two possessions to get back in this game.
And again, tighten up on defense. Don't leave it wide open. Right now, it's wide open. Oh, that was good team defense there.
Nice strip by Steve Goodwin.
There's a 3-on-1. Great play.
Big save. Great play. A great save by Elliott. What can you say? They worked the ball nicely. Nice move from Goodwin over to Tavares and then back across to Fredrickson. And just a great save by Dallas.
Fredrickson seemed to hang up on the shot. Tried to wait till Iliak got across, but he shot just a bit too quick. I think he had the right idea by waiting for him to come across and then shoot it behind him, but he just didn't hold on long enough.
Once again, maybe in a little bit too close to be able to hang on much longer. Vancouver back on the offense. Dan Stroop, another big save by Elliott. Once again, he went low stick side, but that was a good shot that time. Elliott very quick to get that stick down. Burnaby take over.
Well, Burrards have picked the pace up. They're definitely going after it. They can feel that maybe they can win this game if they get a couple of quick goals here, but they've got to play hard.
And now they're in a position, perhaps with 7:45 remaining in the period, they have to start spreading that defense out and going after the ball, and that's where Burnaby could capitalize and get some easy goals.
Yeah, they've got. Vancouver's got to shorten their bench up too, meaning they've got to get their best 5 offensive players out and their best defensive players.
Randy Jones out to Tavares. I think we're going to see an awful lot of Jones, Tavares, and Jensen for the rest of this game on offense. And it looks like Danny Cameron is trying to, as you say, shorten his bench up a bit and get his offensive people out there.
Yeah. Oh, off the pipe. He had him beat a game, but he hit it off the pipe.
How many pipes has that Burnaby's had tonight? It's got to be a half dozen at least.
Must be. There they are, playing smart. Just take the ball back. Oh, that wasn't overly intelligent. And he ducked into it. That's why there's no call.
Another big save by Elliott. A little bit of a bad angle, but Elliott still had to get across and make that big save. Nicola, one-on-one. Nicola likes that shot from a bad angle, and that's the kind of thing that'll work maybe early in the season. But once the goaltenders get on,
I think it's a bad habit he's picked up from field lacrosse. With a 6x6, he could get away with that. But in box lacrosse, a 4x4, there's no way you can score on that. Not with the size of Davey in that net. He just covers up the short side, and there's nothing to get.
Jensen, he's picked up by Rawson. Jones' shot hit a body on the way, bounces back out. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Jensen will have to get a shot away.
One of the few shots of Jones tonight, and unfortunately it didn't get through. Watson's hobbling off there. Maybe it was he that stopped that ball.
Let's try and keep an eye on Stu Watson. As Burnaby trainer Brita Hopkirk trying to have a look and see. There's Brita on the left-hand corner of your screen as they're taking Stu to the dressing room. And you're right, Dave. He probably got that shot on the leg, and he'll have a bit of a Charlie horse. And I think if this score stands the way it is, that pain's going to go away awfully quickly.
Yeah, less than 6 minutes. It's going to be a pretty tough go for Vancouver to win it.
Goodwin looks across to Dancer. Nice look back to Chalice. Chalice's shot saved by Elliott. Al Truitt, nice loose ball. Runs himself into a bit of a trouble and then finally runs himself out of it again. He's being forechecked by Goodwin. Vancouver pressing up in the Burnaby end now, but Burnaby very wisely just dumping the ball back. Andy Holland.
Burnaby team showing a lot of poise tonight. Something I think that they've learned in that series against New West. It's amazing what a 7-game series can teach your team after a 24-game season. Sometimes you wonder if they've learned anything in that 24 games, but then you get in a close 7-game series, they all of a sudden, all those little things you've been trying to teach them or that they should have been playing during the season, they come out, and if they get through that 7-game series, it just continues on in the next series, and they're a much better team for it.
Tavares trying to go one-on-one. The ball just rolls harmlessly into the Burnaby crease. Dallas Elliott picks it up with less than 5 minutes remaining in the third period. Huntley. He's grabbed briefly by Tavares, and Brent Wynn let that one go. Tommy Huntley. And he'll just hang on to the ball. They'll use that 30-second clock to their advantage. 13 seconds left on the clock. Nicola now in possession. Vancouver a little hesitant, not quite sure whether to go out and attack the ball or hang back on defense. Nicola beats Cattermole. Nice look by Nicola. Great save. Great save on Darren London by Dave Koravar.
Well, that was a nice play by Brian Nicola's part. He forced the one-on-one, got open, then drew the defender, and then all he had to do was feed it to the open. But Koravar made a great save by coming across. Penalty on that, Dave.
And once again, Rick Rawson going off for a high stick. He came through on Rich Cattermole as Cattermole got that shot away. Elliott made the save. Rawson, as we said, almost a carbon copy of Vancouver's Steve Goodwin. We've seen Goodwin go off a couple of times for high sticking penalties in this game. This is Rawson's second consecutive, and realistically, Vancouver's not going to win this game. A 10-4 deficit with 4:19 remaining, but a power play goal late in the game will at least restore a little bit of their pride.
I think so. They've got to finish the game strong, finish on and up to carry it into tomorrow night's game. But for the Burnaby's sake, they've played a very good third period. They can go into tomorrow night's game knowing that, hey, we continue to play this smart, intelligent ball control game. They are definitely going to end up winning the game.
Face off to the left of Dallas Elliott, deep in the Burnaby zone. Bit of a hold up. We have an equipment adjustment with, not quite sure who that is. Tanchik and Cowison taking the face-off. Loose ball in that face-off circle. Finally comes free. Picked up by Stroop. Vancouver will go on the power play.
Well, they got to get the ball in quick. Don't kill the clock. I mean, seconds are precious here, and they want any chance to get it close. They've got to get up there quickly. Yeah, or they can take their time and just work on the power play.
I'm kind of surprised that Danny Cameron didn't have his power play out there to take the face-off. Realistically, in a situation like this,
they're deep in Burnaby's end, and they're all the best stick skilled players up.
Nice goal by John Tavares. Finally, with only 3:39 remaining, we get a good look at the skills of this kid, John Tavares, why he led the league in goal scoring, but unfortunately from a Burrard standpoint, too little too late, I think.
Yeah, he, in watching his moves tonight, he makes a great over-the-shoulder fake. There's a hit into the boards, strips him of the ball, Ball's picked up and headman very quickly. Here he comes in. Fakes, he's got that over-the-shoulder fake with the stick high. Forces the goalie to make a move, and he's got that great goal-scoring technique that then he just shoots in an open hole,
Burrard,
which
goal,
not many lacrosse players have, the intelligence to shoot to the open hole after they
assist
fake.
to number 9,
Very
Todd
quick hands, too. I mean,
Racine,
to do that
and number
within
22,
a couple of feet of the
Randy
goal, as he
Jones.
did there, takes very,
That's a
very
power
quick
play
hands.
Well, in the
goal
replay
at
there, you
16-21.
showed how when he gets in tight, he chokes up on the bottom portion of his stick, which shortens his stick up to about 3 feet, and that's why he can have better wrist control with the stick. It's like Kevin Alexander used to do.
Vancouver pulling Korovar now. They're going with the extra attacker for the last 3.5 minutes of the game. As Tavares, a blind pass picked off, and this will likely be an empty net goal by Keith Callison. And was it not Keith Callison who scored the empty net goal that broke New Westminster's back in that 7th game? A little deja vu here from Game 7 of the New Westminster
He's
series.
a natural on a fast team breakout from a zone defense, and he's just got that natural ability to cheat away, and he just goes, he explodes, and he'll get a lot of those. We'll see it. It's picked up by Hurd down the middle, and there he is. For me, probably out too far, because if you know it's on replay,
goal, scored by number 11,
it just hit right
Keith
underneath
Callison.
the pipe, and that could have
Assist
just
to number
been easily
9,
missed.
Russ Hurd.
Here's another look at the last
Time of the goal,
Tavares' last one. We'll get a good
16:50.
look at Tavares' quick hands in front of the net.
There it is. Little fake, gets a goalie to move, and then he shoots it into the open part of the net.
Just over 3 minutes remaining in the final period of play. Loose ball, controlled by Vancouver's Katanchik briefly, picked up by Dean Stroop, shovels it in front to Paul Day. Big save by Elliott.
No, he picked it up outside the crease, and he stepped into the crease when he was making his lateral cut.
Vancouver's Katanchik. It looks like Vancouver's given up on the idea of pulling their goaltender now. 2:45 remaining. A 6-goal deficit again, with Burnaby with an 11-5 lead.
Well, that's one thing I think Dan Cameron has learned. It's a 7-game series. In past years, I think what's happened, he'd get really excited and angry with the team and get frustrated. But what he has to do now is forget this game, not so much forget about it, but talk about the positive things that they did and that where they have to pick their game up tomorrow. So they'll go into the game tomorrow. Now it's a best out of 5 series.
Exactly. It's a best of 5 series now. It's going to be a 1-all game after tonight. And I think looking back on the game, we've been given the unenviable chore of choosing the most valuable player of this game. And I don't know if you'd agree, but I look back over the course of the game and comparing it to the last game, the guy who's made the big difference to me is the guy who just made that great save, Dallas Elliott.
Yeah, he came out and challenged the ball, and he's been doing that all night in reflex, and I think you hit the nail on the head. When Vancouver came out in that first 3-5 minutes, they were dominating, and Iliak stole them, robbed them blind, and then gave Burnaby the opportunity to come back and score a go-ahead goal.
So that's timing on our side as we choose Dallas Elliott as our most valuable player of the game.
That's
As
right.
Dallas looks like he took that. I thought he took the shot on the leg pad. That shows how observant I am as they're holding his chin. Hopefully Dean Rogerson will have a talk or an interview with our game MVP Dallas Elliott after the game. That's if Dallas' jaw is still in working order.
Well, I'm surprised. I didn't think he got in the jaw, but I guess I thought it hit him in the belly pad. But it was a really hard shot, and he came out hard to challenge it.
I think what may have happened perhaps is I thought it hit him in the shin pad or the belly pad, as you say, and it may have slipped up, rebounded up under his chin. But
well, they certainly don't want him to get injured, and you saw what happened in the first game. That little edge. Here's the replay. Just a cannon. And Tavares does have a great outside shot, heavy shot, not so much one of those fast shots, but a heavy shot from outside. And he got it square.
those are the kind, it's amazing how when it's 11-5 in your favor, how little those shots hurt. If it was 11-5 the other way around, Dallas would still be on the ground holding his head, believe me.
Yeah, probably so.
You face off to Dallas Elliott's right. 1 minute and 53 seconds left in Game 2 of this best-of-7 series. And the series is going to be a 1-all tied series after tonight. And I think tomorrow night's game, I guess maybe it's a little too early to be talking about turning points in the series, but Vancouver certainly is a different team tonight than they were Monday night.
No question.
And
my feeling is totally in the goalie selection. I think for Dan to get his team back in the running mode, they've got to go back with Dwight Metke. I just think he forces the ball up the floor and gets his team running and gunning. And if you're going to win championships, you've got to go with the goalie that will get your team to do those things that got you to the championship.
Yeah, I think I agree wholeheartedly, Dave. I think we'll see Dwight Metke in the nets tomorrow night. And I think, unless there's an injury or some other circumstance, you'll see Dwight Metke for the rest of the series, as Craig Roy scores a late goal to make it 11-6 and at least make the game respectable. And I think that's important psychologically.
No question.
You know, the difference between 11-4 and 11-6, 11-5 and 11-6 is psychologically a pretty big difference.
Yeah, here comes a replay. He'll get the pass coming across on the diagonal fake, and then he gets Iliak coming across, but Iliak slides low and leaves the top of the net open. And that was a smart, intelligent goal. Faked him low, got the goalie to go low, and then finish it by putting it in the top corner.
So 1:17 remaining in the final period of play, an 11-6 ball game in Burnaby's favor.
Burrard's 6th goal, scored by number 11,
Vancouver, to their
Craig
credit,
Roy.
certainly working right to the last
Assist
minute.
to
I think
number
that's a
6,
sign of any Danny
John
Cameron coach
Travaris,
team.
and number
They are not going to
22,
quit working until
Randy
this game's
Jones.
over. Chalice.
Time of the goal, 18:43.
Chalice looks to Malcolm, tries to get it back to Chalice. Chalice finally picks up the loose ball, shoots and scores. And Jeff Chalice makes it 11-7. Exactly 1 minute remaining. And as I say, these are important goals psychologically. They certainly aren't going to win this game, but a goal for big Jeff Chalice, another kid right out of junior from Peterborough, Ontario. Here we'll see it on the replay.
Playing the game.
Here it is, a pick and roll. I'm not sure if Tony should have passed it back to him, but he Chalice worked hard to get the loose ball back, and then he shot it to short side halfway up and inside
Burrard's
the pipe.
7th goal, scored by number 5, Jeff Chalice.
Tommy Huntley, who set the
Assist
stage
to
for
number
this game with a
13,
great end-to-end
Tony Malcolm.
short-handed goal early in the game.
And
to get
number
Burnaby's
10,
second goal of the game way back in the first period.
Time of
Dishes
the
it
goal,
back to Johnny Wilson. And Wilson will just
19
wander
minutes.
around on his own end. 15 seconds left on the clock. Katanchik will try and force Wilson to make an error, but I don't think back in that area of the floor. Wilson just dumps it off to Elliott, back to Wilson. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Here we see Chalice's goal again.
Picks up the loose ball, looks, saw the short side was wide open and shot it halfway up. So these are things that they can go to school on for tomorrow night. Just remember the goals they scored, how they scored them, where the weak spot was on Iliak. Because again, as you said, first game they didn't see him. They saw Dougie Zach, which gives them a different look, and you can score on Dougie differently than Iliak. He doesn't have the quick reflex that Iliak has. So if Burrards go to school on it, that's the end of the game. You may see a different look in their shooting habits tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think one of the things from a Vancouver standpoint, their shot selection, their shooting itself is no great shakes, and their shot selection was deplorable. But I think the key to this game, along with the play of Dallas Elliott, was the way Burnaby got back and played great 5-on-5 defense.
Oh, it was strictly a team effort tonight, offensively and defensively, but I think the key was two factors. One, that the transition from offense to defense, and two, that they were patient and took their time on offense. They weren't running and gunning and throwing the ball away, or they took at least 15, 20, even up to 26 seconds to get one shot on goal. And they forced Vancouver to open up their defense, open up the middle, and they were cutting well tonight. So on the other hand, Vancouver's got to turn all those things around. They have to tighten up on defense, cut off the cutting zones, and then get that transition game from defense to offense going for them, which is their style of game.
I think one thing we really haven't mentioned tonight is a great job that Coach Al Luthwaite did in preparing the Burnaby team. And I think this is where there might be a little bit of an edge to Burnaby, because of course Al is a very experienced coach in senior lacrosse. Danny Cameron only in his second year of coaching. Of course, he's done a great job with the Vancouver team this year. But one of the keys in a playoff series is preparation by the coaches, getting a game plan together for the team. Since you're seeing the same team game in, game out for the course of 10 days to 2 weeks. And I think Coach Luthwaite and his assistant Bill Bradley did a great job in preparing Burnaby, slowing the play down as you mentioned, playing that good team defense, being a little more patient than perhaps they are normally through the season. And the players did a great job of performing that game plan.
Okay, we're going to see one of our goals here coming up on the highlights. The first goal This is the truant goal. This is where I believe it's Stewart brings the ball deep. He looks for Truant cutting through, and Truant with that quick release, that seemed to get Korovar on most of the goals tonight. Any quick release shot, he didn't have the reflex to get across on it. But I mean, they're well-placed shots that beat him quite often. But on the diagonal cut, that's what your offense has to do, is finish the play off. Now we're coming up with Stewie Watson's goal, who just picks up the loose ball and kind of saunders down, which is Stewie Watson's style, and just slowly picks up the ball and throws it in the net. I mean, David Cordar must have fallen asleep, but Stewie Watson, I mean, the whole play was kind of slow motion.
I was going to say, if you asked Stu Watson what he was doing there, he'd probably tell you he was sprinting. Anyway, we've got Dean is downstairs now with our star of the game, and I think pretty much a consensus star of this game, and the key perhaps to the series for the Burnaby Lakers, goaltender Dallas Eliuk. Down to you, Dean.
Thanks, Dave. I'm with Dallas Eliuk here. What a performance, another great game. You keep doing this in your last 3 starts. You've been named MVP. Congratulations.
Well, a lot of that it goes to the team in front of me. They've been playing good defense, taking that good percentage shot away from them.
You hurt your ankle before game 1 in the pregame warm-up. How does it feel?
It feels fine. I went over on it a little awkward, and it was too uncomfortable for me. So rather than ruin it, I decided to sit the game out.
Just now, you took another shot in the neck. How's that feel?
That feels okay.
What are your chances from here?
Well, we'll just take each game at a time and put it all, hopefully get it together, and who knows what can happen.
This game was far less physical than game 1. Do you think it'll get any rougher?
If one team starts dishing it out, I'm sure the other team will retaliate and it'll pick up a little bit. Quite sure.
Thanks very much, Dallas. Get in there and have a shower. Dallas Eliuk, stand-up performance, incredible performance. Fine goalie, 3-time MVP in his last 3 starts. Back to you guys.
Great, thanks, Dean, and congratulations to Dallas. Tremendous performance. We're going to have one more look now at Andy Holland's goal. A great, great goal. Perhaps one of the prettiest goals of the night. A nice individual effort by Andy. We'll get that up on the replay. Here it comes now.
Nice cut through. That was a good look by Huntley. He just waited and was patient, and then Holland cut through, gave a little fake, and then popped it in the open spot in the net.
And we see Gary Fredrickson there going like, where is my help? Where's my help, fellas? Oops.
Yeah.
But all in all, an interesting game. I think a very, very well-coached game, certainly on Burnaby's part.
Well, one of the key things, I talked to both coaches before the game, Dave, and both their comments were that the team that plays consistent through this series is going to win it. So each of them have had one of those games where they've come out flat. So tomorrow night is a key game, and it's going to be in Coquitlam Arena, which is the home arena now for Burrards, but they won their first game there, so they're comfortable there. They have to come out running and gunning again and get back into their mode. If they're going to be up, tomorrow night could be the key to the whole series, depending on which team's going to come out and play consistent lacrosse.
Yeah, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, the key to tomorrow night is going to be who's in goal for Vancouver. And I expect it'll be Dwight Metke, and I expect with Metke in the nets, you're going to see Vancouver pick that pace up, get the transition game from defense to offense going a lot better.
Well, with Metke and Eliuk in there in playoff series, and this is a championship series, you've got 2 winners, and it's just going to be one great game.
Yeah, I think it's you're going to see the 2 best goaltenders in the league. I think tomorrow night it's going to be a heck of a game. Tonight, certainly from a Burnaby standpoint, was a heck of a game, an interesting game. I think it's going to be a good series, a long series, and as you say, the most consistent team's going to win it.
Well, if the fans come out, they're going to be entertained with some great lacrosse. Every year, the WLA's provided great lacrosse series.
Okay, so for Dave Wilfong, Dean Rogerson, and myself, Dave Evans, we're wrapping it up from Queen's Park Arena. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you out at Western Lacrosse Associate games in the future.